no. What the hell are they doing?
I stand just outside the tugboat's wheelhouse, peering at the trawler we're approaching. Stepping away from the railing, I tap on the window, getting the captain's attention.
Tell them to get back.
The captain nods and picks up his radio as I turn back to look at the trawler, rocking gently on dark blue waves. There are several men at the back of the vessel. They are pulling in a large fishing net. The men stand on the back railing, looking down into the mouth of the net as if trying to see what's there in the water. They steady themselves with hands on the tow lines going up to the winch overhead. I wait for them to move away, but they don't. They remain standing there, pointing into the net and talking to each other excitedly.
Idiots,
I mutter, heading to the wheelhouse door, stepping inside.
Did you tell them?
I ask, adjusting my uncomfortably tight life jacket. The captain of the tugboat, a short man with a wild black mustache, shrugs.
I radioed their captain and told him. Whether he passed on the information, I have no way of knowing.
I let it go. We're getting close now anyway. A thin layer of clouds spreads from horizon to horizon, weakening the afternoon sun and making it difficult to see into the water. We pull up alongside the trawler. Thankfully, it's not a very big one, which allows me to climb up off the tugboat and onto the fishing boat's deck. I immediately head toward the back, wanting both to get a look at what I'm dealing with and to get those men away from it. Normally, a strange sea animal caught in a net wouldn't concern the SCP Foundation. But we've been on alert ever since some very odd reports started to come in from this general area over the past week. One of them, called in from a man working on a cargo ship, said that he saw a blue whale fighting some giant, red, fleshy creature near the water's surface. He said he kept watching and saw what he thought was the strange creature eating the blue whale. That one got passed on from the Coast Guard to my boss, who brought it to my attention. I did some more research and found several odd sightings in the area around the same time. Then I requested and was granted travel arrangements. Now, here I am. I slowly approach the back of the trawler, the stern, I guess it's called. I don't know much about boats, although I did some research on the way out here. This type of boat is called a stern trawler because it drags nets from the back of the boat and then hauls the catch up there using a winch. I'm 10 yards away from the stern when I call out to the men still standing on the edge.
Get down!
I shout. 2 of the 3 guys standing up there look at me like I'm an idiot they'd like to throw off their boat. The 3rd guy jumps down just as 2 tentacles whip up from the mouth of the net, which is still half in the water. The pink-white tentacles wrap around the 2 remaining fishermen, grabbing one around the neck and the other around the foot. Their eyes bulge with fear as they realize what's happening. The guy with the tentacle around his neck goes flying backward into the mouth of the net, disappearing from view with a splash. The other one, with a tentacle around his ankle, tries to jump off the railing and onto the deck of the boat, but the tentacle whips him back, causing him to slam face first into the railing before falling into the net with his buddy. The man who jumped down runs past me, shouting at the men standing on the deck outside the bridge.
Get a gun!
He shouts.
Get a damn gun!
I try to stop him, to tell him that shooting the creature is a bad idea, but he continues on. There's a flurry of activity from the bridge as the other crew members jump into action to save their coworkers. Still standing a good ways back from the net, I pull out my phone and call my boss. She answers on the 2nd ring.
How's it? I'm going to need some help out here, I tell her. Any nearby task forces that know their way around a boat?
Let me see what I can do, she says and hangs up. Just as I'm putting my phone away, 2 guys with rifles come rushing up. I move to get in their way, holding my hands out.
Please,
I tell them.
Don't do this. You'll be endangering yourselves. Let me handle this. Get out of the way,
one of the men says. His skin is leathery from working on the ocean.
Just give me 10 minutes,
I plead,
to see what we're up against. They could still be alive,
the other, younger man says. I shake my head.
I really doubt it, but I'll see and let you know.
The older man brings his rifle up, lining up the dark bore with my face.
Fine,
I say, stepping aside.
Fine.
They move past me, approaching the railing cautiously with their guns held ready. The older man approaches first, sticking his upper body over the railing and looking down into the mostly submerged net.
What the hell?
He screams just before firing his gun. He straightens and backs up as he pulls the bolt to eject the empty shell and load another one. He's 2 steps from the railing when a deformed and skinless shark leaps out of the net, rows of teeth glistening as its mouth opens wide. The man looks up from his rifle, just a split second too late. The shark clamps onto him, enveloping his entire body in its mouth, gun and all. Its vice-like jaw slams shut just above the man's waist. A torrent of blood spilling out as flesh and organs suffer massive damage. The shark barks like a dog, and then chatters like a dolphin, even though it never opens its mouth. In fact, its mouth is closing tighter as the strange-looking creature retreats back over the rail. As it goes, the man's legs separate and fall to the deck with a splash of salt water and blood.
Jesus Christ!
The younger man with the gun says. He was close enough to the whole thing that he got splashed with blood. He drops the rifle and runs past me, face pale and limbs stiff. I hear him retch only a moment later. As my mind has a moment to catch up with what just happened, I realize that I saw something very strange on the shark. Other than the fact that I could see its pink and red muscles operating as it killed the man. I think of the dog bark and the dolphin chatter. Taking a deep breath, I moved swiftly over to the back railing and peer over, seeing that I'm not crazy. My mind isn't playing tricks on me. The shark is attached to the thing these fishermen caught in their net. Where its tail fin would normally be is an expanse of mottled red flesh, just visible under the surface of the water. But I also see that there are some animals attached to the shark. There's a skinless dog's head sticking out of its underside, and a dolphin's face and nose protruding from its side, also lacking skin. I saw them both when the shark emerged, but I was so concerned with the fishermen getting bitten in half that they didn't register at first. I've been looking at the creature for no more than 2 seconds when a tentacle whips up from another part of the expanse of flesh. I dive out of the way, the tentacle just missing my head. I scramble to a safe distance, considering what I've just seen. I saw other protrusions from the other side of the creature, but only out of the corner of my eye. It's huge, whatever it is, and it seems to be able to change shape at will. Because I'm pretty sure that, as I was watching for those briefest of moments, the shark was being absorbed back into the underlying flesh. Whatever this thing is, it's unlike anything the Foundation has ever seen before. Who knows how long it's even been alive? It has the potential to be hundreds of thousands of years old. Maybe humanity messing with the oceans has brought it out of its deep, dark hiding place. The possibilities for study and scientific discovery reel through my head. This is exactly why I do what I do. I was never interested in stomping around in heavy boots, weighed down with gear, and ready to kill anything that moves. I've always been more interested in why things are the way they are. And the Foundation is full of crazy things that we still have no idea about. But I truly believe each SCP in Foundation custody contains a little puzzle piece that helps to create a tapestry that is the secret of life in the universes. But there's still the problem of how the hell to get this thing into custody without allowing it to kill any more people. Then, of course, I'll have to help ensure all these witnesses get amnestics so they won't remember this craziness. Looking up at the bridge, I see a half-dozen men standing at the railing, looking with dejection at the back of the boat. I move up to them quickly and shout,
"Who's the captain?"
A black man with a huge beard and a shaved head drags his eyes away from the stern and puts them on me.
"I am,"
he says, sounding like he would rather be anything but.
"Did you try to lift it out already? With the winch?"
He nods.
"Yeah. I was afraid we were gonna break the winch. Figured we were hung up on something."
Damn, it's exactly what I was afraid of. As I'm thinking, I hear a voice call from the stern.
"Hey! Hello? Anyone up there?"
At first, I don't really register this. I'm too lost in my own thoughts.
"Hey!"
The man's voice says. He has a prim and proper British accent.
Sorry about your friends, especially the one who got bit in half. The shark really didn't want to do that, but he didn't have a choice.
I slowly look up at the man arrayed at the railing. They look from the stern to me, eyes as wide as their gaping mouths.
You recognize that voice?
I ask the captain. He shakes his head, mouth still hanging open. I nod and turn back toward the rear of the ship. I can't see anything beyond the stern railing, but the voice continues as the vessel rocks gently.
Hey, I want to talk to you. I won't get this chance again for a while.
Swallowing, I move cautiously toward the stern and the fishing net beyond.
Who's there?
I say, still back a few feet.
Hello! Oh dear, yes. Hello? Who are you?
I ask.
What's your name?
There's a pause.
I'm afraid you've stumped me, old chap.
He chuckles.
I've been in here for so long, I seem to have forgotten who I was.
Unable to control my curiosity any further, I step to the railing and look down into the open mouth of the net. There's a seemingly flat expanse of red flesh, like exposed muscles, filling the entire mouth of the net, conforming to its contours. In the middle of this expanse, a hairless and skinless man sticks halfway out. His head and left arm are free, but the rest of him is under the flat stretch of flesh. He's upside down to me, but he shifts as much as he can to look up at me.
Oh my God!
He says with a smile, revealing a mouthful of crooked teeth.
It's so good to see another human's face. It's been so very long.
I stand, tensed, ready to throw myself down again if a shark or a tentacle or anything else should fly up out of the water.
How long? Well, I'm not exactly sure,
He says.
What year is it, old boy?
2023, I tell him.
Good God, man.
He says, baffled.
It's been nearly 100 years in that case.
He starts to laugh. At first, it sounds genuine, but pretty soon, it's clear that he's in incredible pain.
What is this thing? Do you know?
The man keeps crying for a moment before getting himself under control.
I don't know. It doesn't even know, to be honest with you. How can you tell that? Because, dear boy, I can sense its thoughts. We all can, to a certain extent. We're all one in here, for better or worse. Who's we?
I ask.
Are there other humans in there with you? Oh, yes,
He says.
there are.
His eyes suddenly go wide as he stops talking.
Oh no, run! Run for your lives!
As I watch, he's sucked under the surface of the flesh, disappearing as the expanse begins to roil like a pot of boiling water. The net stretches away from the boat as the creature pushes up against its sides. Then, as something emerges from the strange muscled flesh, I heed the man's advice and run.
Get out of here!
I scream, running toward the side of the ship where the tugboat still is.
Get out! Abandoned ship!
As a shadow falls over me, I look back and see a massive and skinless whale being shot out of the net. For a moment, it's straight up in the air as if it's standing on its tail, but it's not standing still. It falls down toward the deck of the boat, smashing through the winch poles and lines. I run, but I know I'm not fast enough. I'm so close to the side of the ship when it crashes into the deck. I'm lucky I'm not smashed under the mammal, but my luck doesn't hold out for long. The floor under my feet snaps up with the impact, sending me flying backward. I have a moment to scream just before I collide with something, and everything goes black. I wake up with the mother of all headaches in a sick bay. Confusion grips me as I look around, seeing the tugboat captain nearby, clearly unconscious. Suddenly, there are hands on me. I turn to see a woman with graying hair looking at me. She has a lab coat on.
Lie down,
She says.
You're okay. Just lie down. What the hell happened?
I ask.
You're lucky you were wearing your life vest.
She says. Suddenly, I remember her name. I've seen her before.
Dr. Weber?
I ask.
Yes, Dr. Brooks.
She says.
You're on a Foundation ship. You can relax.
Foundation ship? I didn't know we had one.
Well, it's one we're borrowing, I guess you could say. Have you ever heard of a semi-submersible cargo ship?
It takes a minute for her words to sink in, but when they do, My eyes go wide.
We got it?
She nods.
From what I understand, the mobile task force you called arrived shortly after the trawler was destroyed. The creature was still struggling to get out of the net, and they were able to subdue it until this ship arrived.
She gestures toward a window behind her.
Would you like to see?
I nod excitedly.
Okay, but then you have to lie back down. Deal? Deal,
I tell her. She helps me up and I walk over to the window, which looks back over the body of the ship. It's massive, probably 400 feet long. And at the cargo area, there's a gigantic mound of skinless red flesh held down with a series of huge nets affixed to the deck. It's massive, much bigger than I imagined. There's a large yellow oval in the middle that looks like an eye, but I can't see well enough from here to tell just what it is.
They say it weighs over 200 tons,
Dr. Weber says. The ship must have submerged the cargo deck in order to get the creature on it before lifting back up. There would be no other way to do it. I'm struck speechless as I stare down at the creature. A single tear streams down my cheek.
It's beautiful,
I say.
And it's going to make my career.
SCP-2059 is an autonomous and sentient mass of flesh, bones, and organs. The entire mass is seemingly dominated by a large yellow sensory organ that does not correspond to that of any known species. The organ resembles an eye in composition, but further study has shown that it is capable of detecting infrared radiation. SCP-2059 appears capable of rearranging itself at will. SCP-2059 does not require extraneous sustenance. Any living creature touching SCP-2059 will be absorbed into its mass, but keratinous material, such as skin, hair, and nails, is discarded. At the time of writing, SCP-2059 consists of 1 blue whale, 1 giant squid of unknown species, 2 bottlenose dolphins, several specimens of various livestock, 1 great white shark, approximately 30 human beings, 1 dead human being in advanced stages of decomposition, several specimens of various household pets, approximately 300 rodents, an undetermined amount of insects. SCP-2059 has a tendency of attempting to fill a space completely if it is confined in one. This is assumed to be to help it retain cohesiveness. SCP-2059 exhibits highly aggressive behavior towards all human and animal life. It will attempt to either kill or assimilate any organisms on sight. While in a passive state, SCP-2059 is usually gathered on the bottom of its containment, with most of its mass pressed against one of the corners. Despite SCP-2059 having multiple sets of vital organs, it does not appear to be using most of them. PET tracer scans have shown that almost 85% of all organs within SCP-2059 are inactive and unused. Hey guys, thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast for more SCP stories like this one. You can also check out some more episodes from the SCP Experience podcast here. I'll see you in the next one.